Hey guys, welcome back. So today's viewer question is from Chris Islas, and he left me a question on my cornering lamp video, so I'll leave a link to that video down below. So Chris has a 2005 Crown Vic LX Sport, and he removed the factory side marker and he replaced it with a side marker from a 03-04 Marauder. And I believe he did that because he wanted the side markers to blink along with the turn signal in the headlamp assembly, so people can see that when the turn signal is on, if they're on the side of the vehicle. And I have to agree with him on that. And that's one of the problems with the turn signals on these cars is you can only see the turn signal on the front if you're directly in front of the vehicle. If you're on the side, you really can't see it. So that's the reason why I chose to modify my factory side marker by installing a dual filament bulb so that it operates as a parking lamp and a turn signal. So I'll give you a demonstration on how it works, on how I modified it. And Chris's question is, he wants to know if there's a way to make the cornering lamp work in his 05 Crown Vic with that Marauder side marker. And the short answer is yes. When I was figuring out the turn signal modification on this car, I found out that all of the civilian models are pre-wired for the turn signal bulb and a cornering lamp bulb in the side marker housing. So if you've got a civilian Vic and you want to add a Grand Marquis or a Marauder side marker to get a turn signal on the side and a cornering lamp, all you need is the housing and the wiring harness, and it will plug right in. It'll be pretty much 100% plug and play with no cutting and no splicing. So let me give you a quick demonstration on how my turn signals work. And then I've brought in my side marker from my 2010 Grand Marquis, and I'll show you how that works right after. Okay, so right now I have the parking lamps on, and this is what it will look like just from the factory. You'll have your parking lamp on the front and then your parking lamp on the side. Now let me turn on the turn signal. Excuse me. So now you can see both of the bulbs are flashing and they're matching in synchronization with each other. And that's just what I wanted. Okay, so like I said, this right here is the side marker out of my 2010 Grand Marquis, and let me install this and show you what that looks like. Okay, so because the Crown Vic and the Grand Marquis have a different header panel design, the Grand Marquis light and the Marauder side marker light, they do require a slight modification where you have to remove one of the little pins and the bolts to get it to fit in there. So of course I'm not doing this permanently, so I'm not going to break those off because I'm going to put this back in my Grand Marquis. So that's why I have this piece of tape on there to hold it in there. Alright, now let me turn it on. Okay, so this is with the parking lamps on, and again it looks just like factory. You've got the original parking lamp in the headlamp assembly, and then you've got the parking lamp on the side marker. Now let me turn on the turn signal. So now what we've got going on, I also did have to turn on the headlamps, and that is to activate the cornering light. So we've got the factory turn signal blinking over here in the headlamp assembly. We've got the turn signal blinking from the Grand Marquis side marker assembly. And then over here we've also got the cornering lamp steadily illuminated. And this is what it looks like without the turn signals flashing. The turn signal in the headlamp assembly, the low beams on, the parking lamp in the Grand Marquis side marker assembly, and the cornering lamp in the Grand Marquis side marker assembly. Okay, so let me show you one more thing. So the whole reason why this works on a civilian Vic with no cutting or splicing is because this connector is pre-wired from the factory with all four pins, or all four wires in this connector. You can see on here there's four wires. We've got two on this side and there's two on this side. And so the factory Crown Vic side marker, it only requires two wires to work the factory original side marker bulb. You know, it just needs one wire for the ground and then one wire for the positive. But when it comes to the Grand Marquis or the Marauder side marker assembly, you need four wires. You need a ground wire, and then you need a positive wire for the parking lamp in the turn signal bulb here. You need a positive wire for the turn signal circuit, and then you need a positive wire for the cornering lamp. So you need a total of four wires. So if you've got a police model Vic, your factory wiring harness is not pre-wired and you only have the two wires. So if you wanted to do this on a police model, you're going to have to run two additional wires, one for the turn signal and one for the cornering lamp. So let's go over to the bench. I want to show you one more thing. Okay, so when I pulled this out of my 2010 Grand Marquis tonight, this right here is the factory wiring harness, and when I plugged it in to my Crown Vic, it didn't work properly, and it took me a minute to figure out what was going on. And it does have the 4 wires on here, of course, but 2 of the wires were in the wrong locations. And on my particular year, the 2004 Crown Vic, this is the configuration of the pins on here. If you look at this connector, this is the connector that I just showed you on the car, and there's 4 pins in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the ground wire is on the top right, and then the positive for the parking lamp is on the bottom right, and then the positive for the turn signal is on the bottom left, and then the positive for the cornering lamp is on the top left. So these 2 wires on my car were reversed. So what I had to do is I had to depin the connector and switch these 2 wires. So let me show you how to do that real quick. So I didn't want to depin this one because it has this these wires are taped up and they're too hard to get at. So I just happen to have a spare here, and I've already removed the wire loom out of here to get to these wires a little bit easier. So this is what we're looking at. This connector, what you're looking at right now, is the same thing as this photograph right here. Pay attention to this little notch, this little notch, and this little notch. And you can see there's the top notch, here's the one on the right, and then here's the one on the left. So you can see in here there's 4 pins, and what I had to do is this pin right here on the top left and this pin on the bottom left were reversed, so I had to switch these. So this is how you do it. You'll take your little pick tool and you'll pull out this little retainer, and then there's a little tab in here you'll stick down in it, and just give the wire a tug. And give that wire a tug, and you'll see the wires will pull right out of here, and you'll just reverse the order and put them right back in. And when you get that back in, you'll put this little retainer back in there, and that's it. So the reason why I'm showing you this is because depending on what year your Panther is, Ford may have ran the wires in a different location. So it's just a matter of finding out which wire does what, and that's pretty easy. You'll just take a basic test light and touch each one of these pins, and of course turn on all your lights, and that will tell you what wire does what. When you touch the ground wire, of course it won't come on, and when you turn the parking lights on and touch this one, the test light will light up, and so forth. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So if you've got a civilian Crown Vic, you just need, oh yeah, so Chris, the answer to your question is, since you've already have your Marauder side marker assembly, all you need to do is get to the junkyard, and you need to get the wiring harness from any Grand Marquis from 1992 to 2011. And while you're there in the junkyard, pretty much grab every wiring harness you can, because you may find a use for these things later on if you get another car. Okay, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.